to write a prayer. She was stuck, but she didn't know it, and she put a lot of work, a lot of prayer, and figured it out. And Angela, on the end, I mean, when she finally surrendered, I mean, really, truly surrendered to God, bless him, and started to pour in, that was a really powerful moment. And Coco, she helped me so much, actually. I heard your voice in my head so often. Coco does not mince words. She says what she thinks what she says, but I kind of needed that, so she helped me a lot, and I love you for that, and I'm just so proud of these women for all the work that they've put in. So just read off the certificates, okay? I'll say these names. Ashley Carrasco.
They gave the mic to the wrong person. I have 4 pages of a speech to read, y'all. I'm a journalist, so buckle in. No, but truly. So when Karen asked me to speak, I literally was like, yeah, I love this. This is what I do. And then she's like, in 5 minutes, I'm like, do you know who I am? I love to talk, but truly, then I started to ask myself, how do I put 5 months of what God's done in my life into 5 minutes? And I really can't, so bear with me. I had met Michelle Caswell about a year before I got involved with Purely His, because I'm a journalist, as I said before, and I had interviewed her, and I was honestly not sure what Purely His was, even after the interview. All I knew was that it was about getting unstuck and all in with Jesus. But this word unstuck stuck with me. And so fast forward a year, my boyfriend came up to me and he asked me, hey, will you do Purely His with me? Because there's a girls group going on at the same time as the guys. And we were going through a rocky time, and I was like, yeah, sure, of course. So I get involved, and fast forward again, we're in a week where we have to write down a list of our character, our core, who we are as a child before all the trauma. I was like, easy peasy, hey. People think I'm funny, so laugh, okay? And I'm kind, and I'm sensitive, and I love to sing, and I'm childlike, and I'm only 5 years into my walk with the Lord, and this is all stuff that he had been showing me along the way. So that was super easy. Then we get to the part that you have to write down what your mask is, and that's the person that you either are or pretend to be to hide the real you. So it could be positive or negative. You could be a really shy person, and your mask is you're confident in front of others. Or it could be the opposite. You're a really confident person, but as soon as you get into a crowd, for whatever reason, you become shy. And I couldn't answer it. And I thought, that's really weird. So we go into our group, and one of the ladies is reading, or all of the ladies read them, but one in particular, she's reading her list, and I'm not going to say which side of the list this was on, but she said, she's guarded and resistant. And I felt so sad. And I went home. I didn't think I'd cry, sorry. I went home, and I just felt pain, and I could hear the Holy Spirit ask, what about that makes you sad? And my only reply could be, because my boyfriend treats me like that. And he's so kind to everyone else. But the closer I try to get to him, the more he pushes away and the more mean he is. And the more I pull away, the more mad and controlling he becomes. And I got even more sad because my mask had been revealed. I realized this was a life-changing, that's why you've heard multiple people say the life-changing question from the Holy Spirit after that was, and how do you act toward him? And it's guarded, and it's resistant, and it's stiff, and it's uptight, and it's grumpy, and it's irritable. Completely opposite of who I truly am. My boyfriend and I are no longer together. And it was hard, and I had to face a lot of things. I had to acknowledge that my childhood, while it's made me who I am today, thank you. And I actually had a pretty good childhood, but while it's made me who I am today, parts of my childhood and parts of my previous adult choices have wounded me and they have affected me. And I had to acknowledge that I did have some things that I needed to really address, because when I first walked in, and all of these women can agree, I was like, life is great! Nothing's wrong with me. I don't belong in this group. Yeah, right. So I just really had to think about that and really go through all of that, and that was painful, and the pain got worse before it got better. But I just had to keep pushing through, of course, on the Lord and these ladies praying for me. And I had to recognize the extent of unhealthy that relationship really was. And that was really hard, because I don't want to paint him a bad picture, and I don't want to paint myself a bad picture. But it was very unhealthy, and it was very toxic. And till this day, obviously, as you can see, I'm still trying to untie those soul ties till this very day. And Ephesians 5:13 says, "But all things become visible when they are exposed by the light. For everything that becomes visible is light." And God exposed that mask to me that unleashed and revealed and exposed a ton of other roots that were causing me to stay stuck in this toxic relationship. And I didn't even, as Karen said, I didn't even know it when I first entered the group. And so here's, over time, what God has revealed to me, because if you remember, in the beginning of this speech, I didn't know what unstuck meant. I didn't know. Most people who knew me knew that I was already all in. My heart was all in with Jesus, but I was stuck. And this is what God's revealed to me. Getting unstuck means allowing God to heal you. It means allowing God to convict you. It means allowing God to rescue you. It means allowing God to hold you. It means allowing God to comfort you. It means allowing God to fight for you. It means allowing God to defend you. It means allowing God to love you. It means not getting into a victim mentality, but choosing to love like God, forgive like God, move forward like God. And you may already think that you love the Lord your God with all of your heart and with all of your soul and with all of your mind, and you think that you may be healed, and I thought so too. But God showed me that getting unstuck means surrendering that idol, that one thing that you may not even realize is an idol. And it means that you have to be humble enough to recognize and say out loud that it is an idol. And for me, that was such an awful word. And I say this because I had already given God the luxury of living with my family. They all live in LA. I moved to Iowa. I've been following God. I live here. I gave up my dream of reporting in LA to be with my family, and I'm in ministry here, and I absolutely love it. I was like, I have no problem surrendering to the Lord. But then God opened my eyes through purely His, and He showed me that this relationship was the one idol in my life that I refused to let go of. I believed that, okay, if one counselor doesn't work, I'll go to a next. I believed that if that book didn't work, I'll read another. If that prayer doesn't work, I'll change myself. If He's not going to change, I'll change. And I tried one thing after another and one thing after another, and I soon grew to resent my ex. So then I had to realize that was another thing I was stuck in. And I had to realize that God showed me I had to, in order to get unstuck, I had to stop with the blame game, and I had to take ownership of my part. Getting unstuck meant I had to apologize to the Lord for all those times I disrespected my ex back the way I would apologize to his earthly parents, because God was there the whole time. So if I disrespected my ex in front of his parents, of course I would go to his parents and say, I'm sorry. I had to say sorry to God for that. I had to say sorry to my ex, which was really hard, with no expectations of love, respect, honor, or remorse. And I craved those things so badly from him. And I had to forgive him without an apology, and I had to apologize without having him apologize back.
And getting unstuck also means I had to apologize to myself and also forgive myself. And so now I think getting unstuck means being brave enough to admit to God that I'm too scared to let go of that one thing. And some of you here may still be scared to let go of that one thing, your deepest desire. And it may be confronting that deepest desire, that addiction, or leaving that abusive relationship. And mine is probably to get married and for it to last until death do us part. But getting unstuck also means that I'm doing my best to obey and being vulnerable enough to tell God that I don't like what's happening all the time, and being able to give God permission because he's a gentleman and he will not do anything without my permission, and to show me his way, and I have to choose to trust that he'll guide me and never forsake me, and he'll never forsake you. And getting unstuck means that once you've given it to God, don't try to take it back. And that's hard. Getting unstuck means after all of this has been brought to light, walking in faith and not by sight. It means when the refining pot is boiling and your heart is tested and you are in the furnace of affliction, to choose to trust God. And which leads me to my next topic, because I have my girls here. One thing that we realized in Purely His is our gifts, and mine is intercession. And so my whole life I've been a fighter, and I've always stepped in for the people that I love. And these women, God have provided them for me to step in for me and to pray for me and to love on me. And so God has really taught me how to be vulnerable, and he's really taught me that it's okay not to be okay. And he's really taught me that it's okay to open up to others and just allow them to be my strength, and I don't always have to be the strong one. And also, for the first time in my life, I'm actually living out the belief, like 2 Corinthians 12:9, when God says to Paul, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. And I now am going to do as Paul said. Therefore, I will boast more gladly in my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For when I am weak, I am strong." Amen. Getting unstuck is a choice. You have to put in the work. And even when it doesn't feel so good, you have to believe that it will get better, because it has gotten better. And while these last 5 to 6 months have been the most trying of my Christian walk, especially stretching my self-control and my thoughts and emotions and taking those captive to the Lord, and I prayed for that, so be careful what you pray for. I do thank the Lord for this. I tried to control the outcome of my life, and in this specific season, it was my relationship. And I won't lie, the temptation is still there. But the more I take control, the more out of control it becomes. And the more I let go of control, the more in control I witness it become. Because now my life is in God's control, and I find so much rest there, and it's so much better. And the growth that I find there is full of peace, and it's full of hope. And so for this, I rejoice. Thank you.